Hello and welcome to the highlights of the Stage 2 race MAKURI, and we start with a funny scene when I realize, oh shit, I forgot my bottles in the kitchen. After the warm-up I went to the kitchen, refilled my bottles, and then I left them there. But in the last moment I managed to grab them. So yes, this is Stage 2, race MAKURI. The route is chain, Chomper, or something like that. 16 kilometers, so shorter than the first stage. And yes, in the beginning there isn't happening that much. So I will make the first cut very early and we will jump to the start of the first climb. Okay, this is not the first climb, but I want to show you the scene because you can see if you're riding smart and you know the course and the route, you can save a lot of energy. So look at the watts per kilogram from all the other guys, and the last 10-15 seconds I was just surfing in the draft, doing nothing, bring down my heart rate a little bit, take deep breath. And so this is always important, especially in such short races where the pace is quite high all the time. And now we are already in the first climb. The official start of the segment was some 100 meters ago, but in the beginning it's quite flat. And yes, we are going now uphill in the village. And there we will grab another power up. My first power up was nothing, just a small plus and 20 XP points, so I wasn't very happy with that. The pace was quite nice. You can see on the colors at the bottom a mixture of blue, green and yellow, so not too high but also not too relaxed. And yes, what was my strategy at this point? So this is my first try for Stage 2. Makes sense because it's Monday. And this is the first day where you can race Stage 2. After the first stage, after the first week, I'm placed very nice in the GC, in the general classification, on the second position, only some thousands of seconds, yeah, very small gap to my teammate Benjamin Axt. And so my strategy was in the beginning on this first climb to sit in the bunch and look how the race will go. See, the pace was now quite high. We are getting in the red numbers. The field is very stretched when you look at the minimap on the top right corner. And yes, so we have these two climbs. This is the first one. We are taking a left turn now, and then it's, I don't know, maybe 1.5 or 1 kilometer. And then it's for a few hundred meters flat again, and then we are going on the dirt and up the, I think the name is Temple KOM. And yes, so I wanted to look what happened, how high the pace is on this first climb, and the pace was quite high. It was okay, but not too slow. If it would have been too slow, I also would have started to go to the front and make the pace, but at this point I was quite happy with the situation, and I've always to remember that I'm in a very good position in the GC, so if the others want to gain some time, then they have to work. It's like when you're in the yellow jersey and you're just looking what the others are doing. But I can already tell you that this will change when we hit the gravel. Now everything is fine. I'm in a good position near the front, but not too much in the wind. You can see my avatar position, that I'm all the time, nearly all the time in the draft, take some fluids, and yes, there we are almost at the first KOM banner after the right turn. And my pulse is quite low for this first climb. Could have been much higher, but it's quite okay, near 200. And now I get a nice power up. I was looking for the van, which I got, or the arrow helmet for the final sprint, because as I always say, the most important thing is to get the power up you want for the final sprint. This is so important. If you want to finish in a good position in the final sprint, then you need a good power up, if it's a race with power ups. And so the van was very nice. I don't know, maybe even better than the arrow helmet, because you will see in the end it's a very long sprint, slightly downhill. I think from 1 kilometer to go, it's a little bit steeper, so you become very, very fast. And when you hit the final 300-400 meters, I think you still have near or above 50 kilometers per hour. So I think this is a very useful power up, because it lasts for 30 seconds and not only for 50 seconds like the arrow helmet. Okay, for the next part I speed up the video to 1.5 times speed, and now you see that I'm going to the front and try to make the pace, because I felt quite good so far. And yeah, I could have sit in the bunch, but that didn't feel very right, so I went to the front and tried to make a high pace, but a steady one, so I didn't want it to attack or something like that. And yes, just keep the pace high, and it's because you want to have a bunch of people at the top of the climb, because from there it's almost all the time downhill, so drafting is very important, and the bigger the group, the better for the speed. And yes, once again you see I try to ride very steady. You can see it in the bottom again in the red color, that I managed quite well to have a steady pace. Nobody else wanted to come to the front, so at some points I tried to put my elbow out to say, okay, maybe someone else wants to do some work for some seconds. Yeah, but nobody was really interested in doing some work. You see, for example, the Swedish guy, he's almost overtaken me, but then he immediately lowers his watt per kilograms to stay behind me. There you see now that I use the button to put out my elbow and say, hey, come on, please do some work. We need a good time. And then I thought, okay, maybe they start to do something. But again, you can see Mr. Swenson is lowering his speed under 4 watts per kilogram. This is not very nice. This is not very nice. Yes, but okay, that's racing. Everybody has the right to sit in the back. But also everybody has the right to say that he is not happy with that. Now we are at the top. It's getting much flatter, so my work was done, because I'm a very light rider. It's my 70.5, sometimes 71 kilograms. So now I started to go into the draft. It looks like a team time trial for some seconds, but then Mr. Wormsley from Great Britain was one of the guys who also tried to increase the pace. So there is the KOM banner. Then it's time to go downhill, all downhill to the finish line. So we are almost in the downhill. At the top it's quite flat, and you can see that I'm going to the front again because we have this little bumpers here. So I wanted to take as much speed as possible when it gets steeper, because you can see we are at the moment a group of, I think, 8 people. 1, 2, 3. Maybe around 8 people, and had a gap of 5 seconds to the next group. This have been 16 people. So now it's time for super tuck. Drink some more fluids. This is a flat part, and I saw that everybody was slowing down, so back to the front with 5-6 watts per kilogram before it's getting downhill again. The other guys let a gap open, so not the perfect situation. There they are coming. And now I have some problems to stay in the draft, but I managed to come back. Quite risky situation, and here you see Mr. Wormsy also say let's go. But yeah, I will make a cut now, and then you will see that the other group will catch us. You know, it's always easier to close the gap if you're in the second group, because you see the other guys, you see how the gap becomes smaller, and yeah. Okay, and then we are back on the gravel, or at the wood, at the wood bridge at the moment, and in a few moments you will see that I'm texting to the group, because that was only some seconds after the other group joined us. I wrote, keep the pace high, because the time counts, let's work together, be a strong group. And yes, it's downhill now, so it's definitely not my time to work again. But you will see in a few moments that a guy there from the watt per kilogram torture team says, man's doing 1.9, saying keep pace high, and that made me quite not angry, but maybe a little bit angry, because I don't know what race he was watching and what he was doing, or what he was thinking, who was doing all the work at the climb. So I take the time to text him back. Give me some seconds. I pulled all the time at the climb when no one wanted to come to front. Okay, there was a British guy who also worked. This has to be said. Yes, and it absolutely makes no sense if as a lightweight rider to make pace in the downhill when you have much heavier guys in the bunch. And there you can see, except me, Mr. Wormsy is writing, so greetings to you. It was a nice race. And for example now when it's getting flat or even a little bit uphill, that I'm immediately going to the front to keep that pace high. And once again, a small gap is opening, but we closed very fast, so this was okay. So yeah, it was quite nice. Now I let the Swedish guy go to the front again, or here the other German guy, Mr. Jänik from Bollerwagen team. There's a teammate from me, Mr. Matthias Runge. Keep an eye on him in the sprint. And now you see the last kilometer, Flamme Rouge. And was, like I said, very angry due to this comment from the guy. And this, I think that gave me so much energy for the final sprint. Normally a downhill sprint is not my favorite one, absolutely not. Then you see how fast the speed is, over 60 kilometers per hour. There you can see the sprint banner at the minimap. first guys are using the power-ups. I was waiting for the first guy to start the sprint. There he is. So I grabbed my power-up and the draft. Very good position in the draft now. And in a few seconds you will see that I even slow down a little bit, because I was for a short moment afraid to be too early in the wind. But in the end, yes, speed was perfect. I think I had by far the highest end speed. Matthias has taken the second place. And you can see on the left side the sprint times from the last 150 meters. That, yeah, was perfect timing and use of the power up. And so I'm very happy with the end of the race. And I'm ready for the ZRL tomorrow with my team, the Wattfabrik Wattlöwen. And yes, I hope you enjoyed the video once again. Subscribe to my channel if you want. Give the video a thumbs up or leave a comment, and maybe we will see each other in a Swift race in the next days or weeks. Have a nice one. Bye.